Bonsoir à tous, bienvenue à Château de Château de Colombe in Saint-Modèle.
Il fait très froid ici, c'est l'hiver et nous avons des températures très bas, très bas. Mais le temps c'est très beau ici. And now that I butchered the French, herzlich willkommen zu Journey to the Chateau, zu unseren deutschsprachigen Freunden. Es ist sehr kalt im Augenblick. In unserer Eingangshalle haben wir im Augenblick 10 Grad. Gorgeous, wirklich tolles Wetter, aber wirklich sehr, sehr kalt.
And now to our English-speaking friends, welcome to another episode of Journey to the Chateau. And it's really cold.
It is.
Yes.
Now, see, I did not look up what 10 degrees is in Fahrenheit. But it's like somewhere in the 40s in our entrance hall and in most parts of the chateau. But it's freezing outside but it's gorgeous weather. We have beautiful sunny days.
Yep.
So we're really not complaining. And I did actually do an oil check, so to speak.
Right? Right, yes. It was actually completely an oil check.
I mean, literally, it was an oil check. But we don't have a gauge on our oil tank. And so there was this, good Lord, how much oil do we have? When did we run out? And so we looked, and Stuart got the ladder and the flashlight, and we just went up there. And, oh, there was a long stick. So with 15 markers, and we have still 46% of the oil we bought in October. So we're all good.
Right. And in case we didn't make that clear, this is the oil that we use for heating the chateau.
Oh, yes.
I'm not sure we're not talking about an oil change in a car or something. I mean, this is for the chateau. Okay.
Yes. So this is our heating oil.
Yeah.
We are in a really good spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're really pretty happy. We did a lot of little jobs right now because we're still waiting for certain things. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the work we did was in the workshop.
That's right. And what this episode is, this is part 1.
Yes.
Of our work on a bed crown.
Yes. So you have, in this case, because it's mahogany, it's carved, it's really pretty. It had woodworm, active.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yum, yum. I mean, the worm, no, never mind, forget it. So we had to treat it for woodworm. The wood needed to be treated because it was it's what is it, about 130, 140 years old? 140. And there are no tutorials that we could find on how to restore and then actually sew curtains,
everything, right?
Hang
draping the curtains. And
yes,
everything.
Because everything on this bed crown is draped. So, and we are very aware that Stephanie has bought this incredibly gorgeous Toile de Jouy bed crown. This is a very different bed crown, so we watched and rewatched that episode. It does not apply to this bed crown. So we had to actually fly a little bit blind here and make it work. And we did have a look.
Since I am done with the curtains and they look lovely, the next step now is to sew the curtain for the background. The background itself needs a little bit of work because it's wood. We need to wax it so it gets nourished.
Right.
And it's very pretty detail. And the carving in front, it's like a ribbon. And it's actually very similar to like the lover's knot ribbon design. That will be gilded because it used to be gilded. There's some remnants there. In any case, oh my goodness, I'm almost falling off the chair here. Surprised myself. So there is no pattern that we can use. So we are flying a bit blind here. And the curtains go from the back, which will be two of this really lovely ecru or off-white cotton sewn together. That will be about 2.20 meters. That's how far they are off the ground, and we're doing it a little shorter. All the way from the front where the toile, which is in the forefront, where that parts, to the floor is 2.80 meters. So we go from 220 to 280, much longer, in a very short or very lovely little arch. And the last thing we need then to sew is the valance that goes on the outside of the background, and it will be ruffled up. And for that we have pictures, but again no pattern. Although Irene has sent us a pattern for backgrounds, so that might be actually really our savior.
Yeah, she sent us patterns for all different types of balances
Yes.
that we could actually use for the background.
So yes, that's going to be good. But I'm looking for gold tassels or like silver metallic looking tassels online right now, because there's just no way we can get them anything like this at a regular store. So this is going to be a work in progress, and it's going to take a while, but it's really fascinating. So I'm going to start today. I mean, just cutting the back pieces is one thing. That's not a big deal. That's
Right.
kind of like blah, because it's two pieces at 220 that are going to be sewn together, and then that's it.
Right.
So what do you do? There's nothing to see here, but the rest and the 12 fabric is, I think, is it 2.40 or 2.60 wide? It's really wide, and it's cotton with linen in it, so it's thicker. It's a really beautiful fabric, and especially for draping, when we have this hanging there, it will drape very, very nicely. It's something we need to figure out as we go. So again, we're learning skills as we're moving forward. And it's really exciting, actually, to do this. So I'm sewing the back of the background, one of the backgrounds, and this was, I actually started sewing this the day Nissa ran away. So then Stuart said we have a problem, and the dogs were gone, and we had to run after them. And I have not been getting back to this, and yeah, there are piles and piles of fabric. It's a lot. So this is the backdrop where there's also going to be a painting or something hanging there, or a mirror, or as in many cases, a cross. So I'm finishing up that part now.
Hello, sweetheart. Are you helping, Guinness? Are you helping? Are you a big helper? Yes. Or are you just supervising? Are you supervising? Are you supervising? Are you supervisor? Oh, supervising. Get it? Yes.
Good afternoon here at the Château de Colombe. I am going to attempt to clean the and do some gilding and wood treatment because this needs to be nourished for the bed crown for our bedroom. So let's see. I need to get out some of the screws, so give me a moment for leaving you here. We had something here. So this is old rope. In any case, so what I'm attempting to do, after I open the door for the dogs, because it's very windy here today, so doors are opening and closing almost magically by themselves. So there. So what I'm doing, I want to just touch up the surface and see if I can get some of the surface dirt off, which is like, you can see this was completely clean. And I don't know where this was, but it was of course on a ceiling somewhere in a bedroom. So again, so this already is coming off. So this will be taking quite a while. So I treated the fabric, and because I'm not an expert, I'm not going to actually tell you precisely what I did, because I don't want anyone to say, that's stupid, which it might be, but we'll see how it turns out. We figured that we rather treat something first and then decide maybe it doesn't work and then take it off. But at least we wanted to try to preserve what we had. And right now I'm putting on a nourishing oil so that the wood that is a bit dull, which you here can see, can regain a bit of its color and luster and richness, because this is the background that's going into our bedroom. So first one to go up, because this is the one that is the big experiment, and the others then will be a bit more professionals in a way. So experience does work wonders. And so when you look at this here, this of course needs to be slightly polished or wiped off, should say. It does make a wonderful difference. It has this slight rim here. And I think this is Napoleon III bed crown. It's very, very pretty mahogany. And it does make quite an impact to treat the wood a bit. And this will be on the wall. No one will see this, but still want to do this. That looks lovely. So this is after it's treated for the first time. This will be multiple applications. And this side is This is without. And this is the wood nourished. So you can see that does make quite a bit of a difference. And this is just such rewarding work because it is instant gratification, unlike other projects that all of us are doing at one point or another, where this takes a long time and it just drags on and drags on. And one thinks, is this ever going to end? So the ribbon, well, it's actually wood, of course, but the carved ribbon will be re-gilded. It used to be gilded. There were remainders, but this might have sat somewhere for a long time, so definitely has some need of being taken care of a bit more. So this is now treated twice. My fingers look great. And all with natural substances, so that's why I don't need to wear gloves. If it would be chemicals, that would be quite a bit of a different story. So the last thing I'm going to do now is add a thin layer of all natural beeswax with natural pigments in it again. So this might sound like a lot, and it is in a way, but considering that this bed crown hasn't been really nurtured in a long time, so this will nurture the wood to a point that it doesn't need to be dealt with in quite a bit of time. So do it once, do it right, and the wood will thank you a lot. There we go. Sometimes paper towels are not the best thing to use. So here I have the acanthus leaves. They have actually they're carved very nicely. So hence they also have pokey bits, and you don't want them to have paper stuck into them. Good Lord, what things I'm saying right now. Anyway, so just a nice thin layer, polish it up. Beautiful little sheen here. And this is actually, for me, a lot of fun to do, because you just revive something that's old and neglected, and it just comes back to life in a way that is just remarkable. And so one thing I would like to show is this bed crown is very dark here, the mahogany, and is much lighter right on the side. So you can see that in this case, the window was on the right side of the bed. That's why this is more bleached than the other side from the sunlight. I am prepping now for some gilding. That was a bit stressful, I find, because it's expensive. You have quite some time. I mean, it's not that this is all terribly urgent, but so I don't want gold or the under color, which is red, mostly red. That is clear as well. This is not supposed to look like perfect, because I don't want this to look like something that was just made in Italy, because they're actually fantastic gilders in Italy. That's why I'm saying made in Italy. So there's nothing wrong with that. But I want this to look more organic and not too sterile. So, if I get that in the end, we'll see. We'll find that out together. The dogs are very busy today defending the Chateau grounds. There's a lot of barking going on. Okay, this I can do. Here I need to see that this doesn't drip onto the wood, because you would see that very much, and that's not pretty. Been there, done that. So I'm using the products of a German gilding supply company. I've used them in the past, and they're really quite lovely. I've shaken up the base, which then the gold adheres to. I don't know if the dogs agree or disagree, can't tell you. And I did at first said, oh, let's just do some gold paint. It doesn't quite look the same, so here we are actually gilding again. But that is really up to everyone, because gilding is a lot of work. It is very expensive. So if people say, you know what, I just use a good gold paint. I don't use spray paint, because that is not good gilt paint. They're really good paints. They cost a fraction of gilding. And what you have to do here, or we have to do here, is we add this base, and then we have to let it sit for a while, so until it gets tacky, and then we can actually put the gilding on. So this red paint is not paint.
Right. It's an adhesive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it comes from a German company. We're not sponsored by anyone here, so we're not going to name any names.
No.
It is an ancient. It's produced after an ancient recipe, so it's a beautiful adhesive. Under the leaf gold, it's gives this red hue, but since we're using real gilding and not painting, it's quite different.
Yes, and so then for our next week's episode, we will then have the actual gilding that Patrick did on the bed crown, and our installation.
And there's news on the bulbs.
Yes, the flower bulbs that
Yes.
you did, the indoor flower bulbs.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no news.
Not too much going on with those right now.
It's so cold in the hall that they are growing roots and nothing more. So we figured we're not going to insult you and showing you something that looks like last week. But they're doing well. Mm-hmm. And if you like this episode, please subscribe and share with your friends and family. That will help us a lot.
Right, and don't forget that we have a Friday at the Chateau this Friday.
True, yes. And next week is gilding time.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Au revoir.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please use the like feature to let us know. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our Journey to the Chateau YouTube channel if you would like to see more. Once you've subscribed, you can tap the notification bell in order to ring it, which will allow you to receive all notifications from our channel. Thank you.